There's a number that gets quietly subtracted from the average person every single night while they sleep. Interest on a card, a subscription renewing at 3 in the morning, cash sitting still while prices climb. Nobody sends a receipt for it, but it's happening right now to most people watching this, and it adds up to more over a lifetime than almost any raise they'll ever get. Here's the part that should bother you. Your money works a night shift every night, 8 hours whether you scheduled it or not, and for most people, that night shift is clocking in for somebody else. The lender, the landlord, the fund they keep meaning to buy and never do. So when somebody promises you wealth while you sleep, you picture the wrong thing. You picture money falling out of the sky, a course, a rental property, some side hustle that prints cash while you're unconscious. That's not how it works, and the people selling that picture know it. Building wealth while you sleep isn't about adding some magic income stream. It's about reversing the direction of the one you already have running in the dark. There are 6 habits that do that, 6 ways to fire the night shift that's robbing you and hire one that pays you instead. None of them are clever. All of them are things you set up once and then forget, which is exactly the point. The machine should run without you. Let me show you the first one. Meet Cole, 34, works as a logistics coordinator, makes $68,000 a year. Good guy, watches the same videos you do, believes in the hustle genuinely. And every month, Cole tells himself the same thing. I'll invest whatever's left at the end of the month. You already know how this ends. Nothing's left. There's never anything left. Not because Cole is reckless, because money you can see is money you'll spend. And by the 31st, there's a reason it's gone every single time. The car, a birthday, the thing that came up. You think the problem is that Cole doesn't earn enough to save? The real problem is the order. He's letting his night shift take whatever scraps the day shift didn't burn through, and the day shift always wins. So here's the flip. Naomi works at the same company, roughly the same pay. Her transfer fires at 12:01 in the morning on payday, before she's even awake. $300 gone to her investments before she can see it, before she can feel it, before a single bill gets a vote. She never decides to save. She decided once, a year ago. Now, it just happens in the dark. $300 a month at the long-run market average, call it 10%, is a little under $400,000 over 25 years. Same paycheck as Cole. The only difference is who gets paid first. Pay your night shift before the day shift wakes up. Okay, second one, and this is the one running against the most people hardest. Cole carries a balance on his card, about $6,000. Not crazy, pretty normal actually. He pays the minimum, tells himself it's handled, and moves on with his life. At around 24%, that $6,000 costs him roughly $120 a month in interest alone. About $1,400 a year for nothing. No vacation, no couch, nothing he can point to, just rent on money he already spent. And here's the thing nobody frames correctly. You think your credit card is a convenience. It's an employee. It's a night shift worker, and it does not work for you. It clocks in at midnight every night, and it earns for the bank while you sleep. Cole hired it without reading the contract. To be fair, and I mean this, the bank isn't doing anything sneaky here. The terms are printed. The incentive is just pointed at them, not you, and nobody's going to apologize for that. So the habit isn't some trick. It's boring. You attack that balance like it's on fire, because it is. And you don't hire that worker back. The fastest raise most people will ever get is killing the interest that's eating them in the dark. Third habit. And this is the actual engine, the real money that works while you sleep everybody's chasing. It was never a secret. It's almost insultingly simple. You own a slice of the whole market, and you let it sit. Not stock picking, not timing the market, not waiting until you finally understand it. Cole's been waiting to understand it for 6 years. Meanwhile, the people who just bought the whole haystack and went to sleep have 6 years of growth he'll never get back. Time in beats timing. It's not close. You think you need to be smart about which companies. You don't. You need to own all of them in one boring fund and then do the hardest thing in finance. Nothing. 500 a month into a broad index, left alone for 30 years at the historical average, lands somewhere around $1 million. From a logistics coordinator's salary, while he sleeps. And honestly, this is the whole reason I sit down and make these. Something close to people have nothing in the market at all. Not because they can't, because nobody ever told them it was allowed to be this simple. If one video gets one person to set up that first automatic buy, this whole thing paid for itself. That's the only thing I'm actually asking of you. Set up the boring fund. The market doesn't care if you're awake. That's the entire point. It's the one employee that works the night shift for free, for you, for decades. And most people never put in the application. Fourth one's smaller, and that's exactly why it gets you. Cole has subscriptions he forgot he has. The streaming service he watched once. The app from a New Year's resolution. The free trial that started charging in month 2 and never stopped. Add them up, about $200 a month, renewing at 3 in the morning while he sleeps without asking him a thing. You think the danger is the big purchases, the car, the vacation, the splurge. The big ones you feel, you remember them. It's the small recurring ones that do the quiet damage because they renew in the dark and you never watch the charge land. $200 a month is $2,400 a year. Redirected into that boring fund instead, over 20 years, it's north of $140,000. For subscriptions he wasn't using. That's the price of not looking. And the habit takes one evening. You sit down, you read your own statement line by line, and you fire every worker on your night shift that isn't earning its keep. Most people have never once read the whole thing. Your bank statement is a payroll. Audit it. Fifth, this one feels responsible, which is what makes it sneaky. Cole keeps a chunk of cash in his checking account, say $20,000. Feels safe, feels smart even. It's right there, he can see it, nothing can touch it. Except something is touching it. Every night. Inflation works a night shift too, and it never calls in sick. At around 3%, that $20,000 quietly loses about $600 of buying power a year, sitting still, earning nothing. You think cash is the safe choice. It's the slow bleed choice. Same dollars on the statement, less and less they can actually buy. The number never moves, so you never notice the theft. And the fix here is almost stupid. You move it to a high-yield account. Same cash, same access, still boring, still safe. At around 4%, that same 20 grand earns you roughly $800 a year instead of bleeding $6. You didn't take on any risk. You just stopped letting it sleep on the floor. Idle cash isn't safe. It's just losing quietly. Last one, sixth habit. And it's the one that protects every other one on this list. Because here's what almost killed Cole's progress the first time he tried all this. His transmission died. $3,200 out of nowhere on a Tuesday. He had no buffer. So he had exactly two options. Put it on the card he just paid down, or sell the investments he just started. Either way, the night shift he'd finally hired for himself gets fired on a Tuesday because of a transmission. You think building wealth is about offense, the bigger return, the better fund, the higher contribution, but offense doesn't matter if one bad night forces you to sell everything at the bottom. One emergency, no buffer, and the whole machine comes apart in an afternoon. Naomi had 3 months of expenses sitting in that same boring, high-yield account. Her transmission died too that same winter. She paid it. Annoying, a bad week, her investments never even noticed. Her night shift kept running while his shut down. The buffer isn't the wealth. It's the wall around the place where wealth gets built. So step back and look at the two of them. Same company, same pay, give or take, both 34 when this started. 10 years later, Cole's night shift ran against him the whole decade. $1,400 a year to the card, $2,400 a year to subscriptions he didn't use, cash bleeding to inflation, nothing invested because he was still waiting to understand it. 10 years of paychecks, and he's roughly where he started, maybe a little behind. Naomi made the same money, $500 a month, automatic, into the boring fund, no card interest, subscriptions audited, cash earning instead of bleeding. 10 years in, she's got somewhere around $100,000 working for her, growing every night, whether she thinks about it or not. Same paychecks. The only thing that was ever different was which direction their money moved while they were asleep. Here's the part I actually like, though. Cole's story doesn't end there, because none of this needed a raise. That's the thing that should make you feel good right now. He went home and did it in one weekend. Set the auto transfer for $12.01 on payday, read his statement and cut 3 subscriptions in 10 minutes, moved his cash to a high yield account, opened the boring fund and bought it once on purpose. Then he started chipping the card down like it was on fire. He didn't get richer that weekend. He just turned his night shift around, pointed it at himself for the first time in his adult life. And then he went to sleep. And for once, the machine was working for him instead of on him. That's the whole move. You're not building a second income. You're firing a thief and rehiring him on your side. So if you take anything from this, take the 6. Pay your night shift first before the day shift wakes up. Kill the card interest that's earning for the bank. Own the boring index and leave it alone. Audit your statement like it's a payroll. Move your idle cash so it stops bleeding. And build the buffer that keeps one bad Tuesday from ending all of it. Notice what's not on that list. No hustle, no course, no secret you have to grind to keep up with. Every single one of these is something you set up once and then ignore. The whole point is that it runs without you. Your money is going to work tonight either way. It doesn't get a night off. The only question, the only one that's ever really mattered, is who it's working for when the lights go out. You can set that tonight. And then, for the first time, you can actually sleep on it.